Welcome to Off the Clock. This is episode 34. I've done 34 consecutive Facebook Lives to start off 2021. I can't think of a better way to ruin a year, but it's actually been a lot of fun, and you guys have joined me, and more so than others. A lot of people have been commenting, sending me messages like, "Just keep going," and it's like I'm okay. I'm okay mentally. Everything's fine. I just need to do something other than just nothing. So. Every Wednesday night, I have a guest, and this week I have a very good friend of mine and very funny man. He tours all over the country. You've seen him, you know him, you love him. He is Zach Martina. So let's bring in Zach, everybody. Hey, Zach, how are you doing?
Good evening.
That's good. As I was driving home today, I was like, I knew Zach is going to do an intro, and I was looking forward to what it was going to be. But
I got a swivelly chair, and you got to go with it, right?
You got to use it. You got to use your use your tools. You know.
Mm-hmm. What's up,
dude? That made me think of when we did a show up at a casino. I think it was in Harris, Michigan, and you commando rolled on stage. It's one of the funniest things I've ever seen.
That room, man, it's just a cavern. I think one time I was on stage, I equated because like there's these big skylights over it,
yes,
and then it's just like this vast banquet room, and it looks like the type of room that Batman would crash a party from the ceiling.
That's right.
And then there's this, like no one would pay attention. Everybody was already, they were social distancing before COVID. Like that's how spread out this room. It was awful, and they would never pay attention. They were like, I lost all my coins. I can't do the slots anymore. I guess we'll go watch the free comedy show. And
yeah, some people are just so depressed.
It's the most physically exhausting show every time that I do it.
Mm-hmm. And that was my first time there. And I've done a few casinos, and it was the same casino show. Every casino show is the same, unfortunately. It's cool that we got to hang out, and we got to remember we watched some football, and we got the food was comped and stuff, but then that was about it.
Yeah, we were coming up because you came up separately. Usually we would drive together, but I was coming across Minnesota, and you were coming from home.
Yeah.
So we met up there.
Yep. And so we hung out, and then I remember I got up really early and drove home. But yeah, I just remember that
we set an alarm because we left it it's about a 4 to 6 hour drive, and we both got in the car at about 2:00 in the morning.
I know. Yeah, but I just remember that. I'll always remember that show because I do my my thing, and then you just commando rolled onto the stage, and I just lost it. And these old people were like, "What is happening? What's going on? Why?"
That man does not have the physical stature to be doing these acrobatics. He's gonna blow out a hip, and he's young. He needs that mobility.
Young buck. I'm sure at least one person referred to you as a young buck after you did that.
Yeah, probably.
Well,
through the cigarette that never leaves their lip, it never actually gets smaller, and it just claps.
Yeah. It's not lit. It's just it's from 1978.
You say that you'll never forget that show. One show you may forget just because of the sheer amount of alcohol you had post set was when we were doing not a casino but a bowling alley. And that lady kept talking. It was right before Easter.
Oh my God.
And in all my time knowing you, I've never, ever seen you melt down like that. I mean, that was a legit meltdown, man.
I was pissed. Was that in, was that Muskegon area?
Yeah.
It was a bowling alley over there, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I remember too. And everybody turned on her, but she just wouldn't shut up. And everybody was clearly on your side. But man, you let her have it.
Yeah, I hold it in rather well, and then sometimes it comes out, and most of those are controlled burns in my car, or I'm just no one else is around, and then no one hears me, but it's basically just me singing song lyrics and then screaming obscenities at people, but yeah, that one I had enough, and we had driven a long time to get there, and I just want to do my thing.
That was another run where it was boom, boom, boom. We were just in the car nonstop.
Yeah. And, now I remember that one. That was the other bowling alley show. Because then the other one, the
guy,
other one,
the drunk guy on Thursday.
yes,
he's like, you a Facebook dude or a Google dude?
Yeah. Then you got a great video of that.
In the link to this, I'll post in the comment section to this, I will post a link to that video because that guy, he messaged me. He was so belligerent, drunk, and then like I was doing those Matt Patricia videos, and he was following them, and he goes, "Hey man, I'm the guy in that video. I just want you to know that after that night, I got sober, and I've been dry for however much time." And I was like, "Oh, that was my rock bottom." And I go,
"Holy shit!
I should feel good about helping you find sobriety, or am I respond? I don't know.
Yeah, it's funny how that works. Like sometimes whenever they contact you, it's never like, "Oh, I hate you." It's always like, "My life has changed," or "I apologize." Like they've had some time. Like I just experienced it like that with Jerry Donovan room, and some guy was just a complete asshole. And then I went back like 3 years later, and the guy was at the same place. He was at the same room, and he's like, "I just wanted to let you know that I'm so sorry about that." I was like, "Oh, thanks. I appreciate that." But it's funny how that works sometimes. That like
you're like, "Oh, I completely forgot about it," but like, see, like it was one of those controlled burns you have in your car every single day. Yeah. I'm not kidding though. When we were at that bowling alley, we both have faces that lend themselves to like cartoon characters, and in that moment, I legit saw steam out yours. It was a clear and present moment where your brain broke. Like you could see it. Yeah. Everybody in the crowd could see it. The bartenders in the way back could see it.
Yeah,
it was.
It was fun. Fun-ish, because I remember like they were on my side with that, and that's a rare, like if you can get that, then you can play into it, and then then you can get somewhere with it. But yeah, I forgot about that one, but I shouldn't have, but when you said bowling alley, I was making me think of, was that the same show when you got that great heckler, that great video?
That was Thursday, and then yours was a Saturday, so it was all the same week. On Friday, I can't remember what the venue was on Friday, but I remember we ate and drank at a brewery.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. Yeah. We had to cross a bridge, and it was wasn't there a bridge involved? I don't remember. But,
yeah.
But so what you been up to, man? What's been going on? And
well, I almost chopped my hand off. Where's the camera?
Yeah.
There it is.
I saw that. Man.
Look at that fresh scar. 9 stitches. It was about half an inch deep. And I was chopping wood trying to keep my family warm, and then I ended up missing the wood. Like I didn't come down flush, and it into my hand, and my kids saw a lot of blood that day, like enough blood to where it would have been a crime scene, because we were all outside. And because murderers are born in scenes of vast amounts of blood, and now I will look at my two daughters the rest of their lives wondering if they are capable of taking someone else's life only because I cut my hands.
Yeah.
Just have this blood.
I mean, when you said that you chopped cutting your hand and cutting wood, I'm like, are you living on the frontier now? Is everything? Are you okay? Do you have a coonskin hat?
Like some sort of man.
Yeah. That you like with a lumberjack, that no woman could resist that.
Yeah.
I'm sure Emily was just like.
I think she was definitely scared, but it was there was so much blood. Wow. Emily's like, "All right, girls, get in the car." I'm like, "Nope, you stay home. You're not coming to the doctor, the emergency room in COVID times. You're both fine." My oldest daughter's certified to babysit. I was like, "It's fine." And then we call her to let her know on the way to the hospital that everything's okay. And she's like, "Should I call like the neighbors and Nana and Papa and let everyone know what's going on?" And your mom, my mom's, or not my mom, not your mom, her mom, my wife was like, "No, you don't need to share this with anyone."
Yeah, we don't need to worry them with it, That's funny. Yeah.
Oh, I got it.
So 9 stitches. Uh-oh.
About the wound, because like the stitches were in there for about 3.5 weeks, and it was so deep. They kept calling it meaty, which I did not like. They were like, "The wound's still a bit meaty. We're gonna have to keep the stitches in there." I'm like, "You went to school for like 10 years. Why are you calling my wound meaty?"
That's never a good adjective for anything meaty.
No.
You never want to...
And then I go, and then I also, like, when I sit down, my butt hurts. And they go, okay, show me. So I pull out my butt, and they start like a monkey looking for lice in human hair. They start going into my cracks, and then they see these 2 little dots, and they go, you have pilonidal cysts. And I go, okay, what are those? They go, well, we see them a lot in truck drivers. What do you do for a living? I go, well, I am on the road a lot. I'm a comedian. And my doctor goes, well, I guess you're kind of like a truck driver, except the cargo you're hauling is jokes. And you're going to hit me with the jokes line and then the meaty line. Come on here. I'm literally bent over, and you're going to come at me with this? I couldn't handle it. But they were right. So then I had surgery, and now I just have this giant open hole inside that my sweet, sweet wife has to plug and unplug 3 times a day so the wound can heal.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
So other than that,
a lot of math. That's what I've been up to. I almost cut my hand off. I got surgery on my ass. Now I have 3 nipples and 2 buttholes and a very average sized penis. And I've been teaching my daughters elementary school math, which I'm pretty good at.
Oh, wow. That's a lot. I was not expecting that when I asked.
And that's just the last couple months.
It's in the last quarter.
Yeah. Yeah. I had you draft up those estate planning documents for me because ever since I've had my brushes with health issues.
Oh, man.
Nick Lydorf, ladies and gentlemen, when you can't hold a hatchet worth your life and sitting down a lot just doesn't agree with you and you have hypertension, you got to get your affairs in order.
Man.
Comedian.
So that's been so we've been seeing videos. You're on TikTok a lot. Like so the whole idea behind this is just me catching up with my friends, seeing what they're doing and delving into, what their creative process is, how they get things done, how are they staying motivated, what are they doing. But I've seen you on TikTok. You've got, 80,000 followers on TikTok now?
Yeah, but I also haven't been on TikTok since I haven't really posted too much new since shutdown happened. Because what I was posting on TikTok was just stand-up clips, just riffs of me melting down, which I do far more often than you. So I would just take these little blurbs and put them up on TikTok, and one took off, and I ended up getting a bunch of followers out of it. Fine.
Cool.
TikTok's an interesting app just because I don't know. I don't like social media because I feel like they're selective. I feel like everyone's against me. Like when I tweet something, like, oh, this is great, someone's going to see it, and no one clicks the heart. No one clicks the retweet. And it makes me think that either Twitter's against me or I'm not as funny as I think I am. And obviously the case is Twitter doesn't like me because I'm fucking funny. Excuse my language. I don't know if I'm supposed to swear on here, but we're off the clock.
Yeah, we are. It doesn't matter. There's no rules here. Twitter. I don't do a whole lot on Twitter. I do stream this to Periscope. So, but I didn't even know that was a thing. And my friend usually watches it on Periscope. But it's an interesting app, and I haven't figured it out. I have one video with like 800 views, but it wasn't anything that I thought was interesting. But that's not even a lot. That's not even a lot of people are just getting like tens of thousands and hundreds of thousands of views on it. It's just wild.
It's just all so blatantly random as far as social media goes.
Yeah.
I need to get off social media because I cannot handle, like, I see these great things happening to my friends, and in my heart, I am happy for them. I genuinely am happy for my friends, but it makes me compare myself to them, which is wildly unhealthy.
Yes.
It's just like, I don't know if it's inherent nature or whatever. So I got to be real careful about what I'm looking at on social media.
Well, I feel you. That whole compare and despair. That's the
look at you, fucking
I know.
over there.
Dude, I'm reading self-help books. That's all really is. Meditating a lot and reading self-help books, and I'm just gonna like trip into yoga. I'm sure at some point I just end up doing that.
Emily does yoga and she loves it. She can't get enough of it.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Honestly, I'm a pretty big fan of it myself, but I'm not doing it.
Yeah.
You're just so much happier.
Have you been doing Zoom shows? What have you been up to?
Here and there, not too many. I mean, I'll be honest, during quarantine, I took a lot of time to kind of like just recenter myself, learn a little bit about what's going on in my head, because to each their own, if you will. Every individual is unique, and I got some just things going on in my head that I'm trying to figure out and explore and learn and take control of, so they no longer have control over me. So I haven't been actively seeking out Zoom shows. If they come across my my email, I will do them. And then I haven't really been submitting to shows because I don't know how comfortable like to go back on the road, with everything going on and the whole COVID evolution thing. It's like a goddamn Pokemon. I don't know what to make of that. So I've just been trying to stay as motivated as I can here. Here in 2020, I'm doing something called a 411, which is basically a pretty in-depth spreadsheet of goals. You start with a list of yearly goals, and then every month you make goals for that month to help you get toward accomplishing the yearly goals. And then for that month, you break it down into weekly segments. So in week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4, here's what I've got to do to accomplish the month. And then if I accomplish all the months, then I accomplish the year. So I've been writing a lot. I've been free writing a lot. I've been reading a lot of books. I've been meditating. I've been doing some stuff with my family. I've been doing like a book club with my oldest every month. Every month with my youngest, we either bake or cook something. We also do like a big holiday style meal every month, and then like a game night. We've been doing catch a murderer games. They're 10 and 8. We've got a lot of those hunt a killer games. Yeah. And then so that's it. Just having something on paper in front of me has definitely helped keep me on track. Yeah,
that's good. So I want to learn more about this 411. You touched on a bunch of different things. What's your meditation schedule? Is there a certain time?
30, 40 minutes. I try to do 30, 40 minutes 5 times a week.
That's awesome.
I think that 7 days, you've got to have a little room to, like if you miss one day in a 7-day and you're trying to get them all 7 days, it'll jack you up, man. Yeah. So just trying to, build in those little pieces of leniency. I mean, if I get all 7 days, terrific, bonus, but I'm trying to hold myself on the hook as far as like joke writing and joke editing, and I'm storyboarding a couple characters and podcasts. Like I'm trying to give myself a little bit of breathing room so I don't feel short-circuited just working 7 days a week all month.
Yes. So let's go into this 411. And so where did you learn of that?
Emily taught it to me. Emily, my wife, she is a terrific realtor. She is she's been doing real estate now for about 5-6 years. And every year she's doubled her sales. She's she just started with a new company and created a team because she's always wanted to be like a pillar in our community. And this new brokerage that she's with told her about their agents do this thing called the 411. And I was talking to her just about, I'm like, I need to get some direction. I need to figure it out. I need to, something to hold myself accountable. And it just so happened that she was, she had her 411 up and showed me it. So I broke mine down into 4 categories. I try to do something for myself personally, for myself professionally, for me as a family man, so familially, and then spiritually. I have goals for the year in each of those categories that are very importantly quantifiable. So, you can measure like, okay, you did this. It's not just a philosophical standpoint. And so I've got those all for the year. And then each month I look at those things in the year and I'm like, okay, how do I get closer to accomplishing those in the year? And I break them down for the month. And then every month, obviously there are 4 weeks and I break it down in those 4 categories weekly. So like I'm supposed to read a certain amount of pages a day in a book, or I'm supposed to write this many pages or for this amount of time in my free writes, or if I'm feeling a certain way, go ahead and journal it. And if you're feeling an intense elation, write about it, live in it. Don't go around your feelings, go through them. So like with anger and sadness and happiness, I try to go through them and experience them to better, I guess, just understand what makes me tick. What are my triggers, if I have you?
That's really cool. one thing that I learned at the micro level is called Monday Hour One, which is I write down everything. So the first thing I do on Monday morning is I write everything that I want to get accomplished for that week on a piece of paper. And then I take my schedule and I put every one of those things in a time and be mindful of like how long it's going to take, all those kind of things. And I cross it all off. And then I look at my day, and then I try and have a 2-hour block every day of focus time where I can either choose to get some of those things off my list or do creative projects during that time. And then you throw that list away after you've done it. And then you just have to show up for yourself whenever you schedule it to happen. And you're going to feel like resistance because we're just human beings. We don't want to do certain things. But and then the idea of like, when do I feel most productive? Can I get like 3 things done, in the morning once I get those 3 things done, then I feel more motivated as I go out throughout the day. But sure. I like the idea of what you did, because I could take what I've kind of learned, and then, attack a bigger, that 4 or 11, which using that as your 4 goals that sounds really cool. So I'm gonna check that out.
The biggest thing about that is it's just like that they're quantifiable. It's that you have things that you can do to get it done. I'm looking at the comments right now, and Gary Madera, who I haven't seen in so long, he asked me to tell you about the watermelon cupcakes. And I will tell you about the watermelon cupcakes. This was a creative thing. I basically just sat down with Lena, my youngest. I said, "What do you want to make?" And she said, "Cupcakes." So we went through Pinterest and we saw these watermelon cupcakes. And I'll be honest with you, they were garbage. They were they were vanilla cupcakes with green dye, so you got the green base, and then the pink frosting. Like, the only way to get watermelon flavor was to use like a crushed Kool-Aid packet, and it tasted more like bubble gum than anything else. I'll tell you this: I wanted to shove a cupcake into a child's face when I gave it to them, and they said, "Couple tips: maybe a little less sugar in the frosting, and maybe don't bake them as long because they're kind of dry." And I was like, "Listen, do you know what frosting is? It is literally just sugar."
Yeah.
No, thank you. Just criticisms, and I was very irritated about it. And it came in a month in January when I wasn't drinking, so I couldn't just drown my feelings and escape from it.
Yeah, that's good. That's I love it's just being around our families during this entire time is just it's good, but then at some point it's just like, I gotta get out of here. This is I need to do something.
When I was on the road regularly, my family and I definitely subscribed to a absence makes the heart grow fonder mentality, and I am looking for that. No doubt about it.
Jared Hibbs. Yeah,
I gotta grab my notebook because someone asked about a notebook.
Yeah, Starla wants to see her. I was just gonna get to that.
All right, I'm coming right back. I'll be right back.
Okay, and so Jared, can you find this on Google? I'll throw that in as a response. I tried to respond to your question, Jared, but it took me to the actual live video of the thing. So I did find it. You can find it on Google. The 411 goal setting method. It's called.
It's been great, and it's definitely helped keep me accountable as far as my notebook goes. Nice.
That's sweet.
This is where I rewrite.
Yeah. How'd you get that made for you? Or what did you do?
This was the first gift that Emily ever gave me.
Oh, nice.
So it was Christmas, our first year together. So it would have been 2011, and I opened it, and there was this, and it was just the most thoughtful thing that anyone's ever done. So it's the first gift that actually moved me to tears. I feel like it was the first gift that was actually a thoughtful gift. So I've had this since about a year into comedy. This is actually my second one. We had to find the guy who made it because someone stole my first one. Because it was always with me. I took it everywhere. Mm-hmm. And now I keep it at home or in my bag because someone swapped the first one. And I feel like that's where my best bits are, in the one that I'm missing. But
yeah. Let's so for a second, you were mentioning free writing and things. So do you have different stages of what what's your process when you sit down to write? Do you have a goal? What's your process with that?
I think like many creatives, when an idea strikes, you do your best to document it in some sort of notes app or in a notebook you carry in your pocket, just anywhere. You write the idea down. And then for me, I just have a list of ideas. And when I sit down to write, I just write. I just free write. Yeah. I just like, here's the idea, here's what I can get. And then I try to mine, a line or two out of it. And then from there, kind of just keep going. A lot of times from that free write, I'll start with an idea and then it'll take me down a completely different path and I'll end up with something. And then all of a sudden I've got this bit that's in the middle of an existing bit and it just kind of lengthens it. And then, I go back I have my legal pad. It's my scratch pad. That's where I free write the bits. And then I put them into my notebook that I carry around that just have like specific jokes and such. And then I go back into that book after I try them and I write down notes. I'm like, maybe this should be like this, or this should switch this. And then just try and grow it from there. It's just, it's all about documentation for me.
Yeah, I feel the same way. I've got different notebooks for different things. And putting them and taking them from one thing to another is what I do. Jared asked a question. Do you guys need these structure exercises because you're self-employed or just gunning for overall betterment? I know what's your answer to that, Zach?
I definitely want to be better. That's definitely something I've been, for about the past year and a half since I was, seeing a therapist and found some stuff out about myself that I'm trying to, like I said earlier, just kind of take control of and not allow control me. That I'm looking to be overall better. Just believe in myself, not compare myself as much. So I definitely want that, but I don't think that has anything to do with the 411 for me. The 411 is strictly for accountability. Like I can, if it's not written down, as I said with the documentation, it's I don't have to hold myself accountable. I can just forget, like, oh, I forgot that I was supposed to do that. But if I've got it down and like it's there, it's like, you didn't do that. You put it on the page. It was deliberate that you wanted to accomplish it, and then if you didn't, it's on you, and you just have to get better. Another thing with the 411 too, I should mention, is the whole thing is designed to, like, as the year goes on, maybe some of these goals are unrealistic and you need to alter them a little bit. So the yearly goals start in January. I think the main idea stays there, but if it's not coming to fruition based on your monthly and weekly exercises, you kind of evolve it to get some sort of accomplishment flavor.
Yeah, and I feel kind of the same way. Like, I am self-employed. You're self-employed too. I think when you're self-employed, you have to be accountable. I think that's probably the biggest, because like if you're, there's no one that's telling you what to do. And I know for me, I was getting towards, 40, and I'm like, do I want to keep being a lawyer as I'm doing it right now? And the answer was no, for my mental health and, physical health too. And so I'm just, well, how do I pivot? And how do I do that as efficiently as possible? And so I just trying to find different ways to hold myself accountable. And then also be a better comedian and father and creator of things. And so like, this is a goal. Like this, I set this goal, at the end of last year, like I'm going to do 365 Facebook Lives. And along the way, I'm going to bring in some of my friends, talk with them about their creative process. And if no one watches it, okay. But at the end of it, I feel, and it's fun. And I've gotten, and I know it's accountable, because every day there's got to be another one, or I'm going to feel like I let myself down. But I like these methods, because life is just like, you've got these goals and like that you want, like, I want to do this. I want to do that. I want to perform here. I want to write this. But then how do you get there? How do you get from, especially with creative things or entrepreneurship in general, how do you get from A to Z if you don't have some sort of structure? Because it just seems like it's this mishmash of like floating around. And so, I think it might be, there's multiple answers to that question, which was, are we doing it because we are self-employed, or are you doing it to be a better person? I think it sounds like what you're saying is a little of both. And I would probably agree with that.
I think too, something you touched on, accountability as a professional. I think the number one thing that this is such a broad stroke, and I'm generalizing, but so many of the people that I meet, whether it be professionally or personally, are refusing to be accountable for themselves, whether it's the mistakes they made or they want to be humble and don't want to take accountability for their successes. Like, it's like, let's just move on. And I just think accountability, that's something that is really, it's my favorite thing about the people that I love. They are accountable. They don't necessarily beat themselves up over it. They don't necessarily, tear themselves down or sit on some false idea of self-righteousness, but they are accountable. They are honest with themselves, and therefore, I think it creates a better quality. I don't want to say necessarily person, but for me, certainly a relationship.
Yeah, and you mentioned it's interesting how those things like accountability and I don't want to put words in your mouth, but it sounds like you like to
do it then, Nick. I will leave my goddamn.
Sorry.
Put any fucking words in my mouth, and I'm going straight to the comments, and I'm letting them come out my fingers. You know what I mean?
But what you said is, instead of avoiding things, you want to deal with it, and that means dealing with.
The feelings thing earlier. Don't go around them. Go through it.
Exactly. Well, and that has to do with success too, right? Like, succeed in, if you did something that you like, take a minute and enjoy it. That's kind of what I'm learning. Like, as I had like probably one of I had the biggest month of me being a lawyer last month, and I had a really hard time, and my wife was like, you gotta take a minute and you gotta celebrate that, because my mindset is just like, okay, that's not enough. I set something, now I want to do it even bigger. But the meditation is helping me because I'm only doing it like 10 minutes a day at the beginning of the day. But what I found is really cool is throughout the day, I will take a task like, I don't know, just driving. Instead of like listening to stuff or doing anything, just feel the wheel, focus on everything, and being very mindful of whatever I'm doing. And like, so like I that meant when I picked up on what you said, which is, go through them, not around them. I think that's what you said, but also with success too. Like, we get to these things, these places, and we just don't do enough to congratulate ourselves and that we did this. This is something cool. We achieved this goal, and instead of just moving on to the next one, because then it just seems meaningless. These things on a piece of paper, I guess. I don't know. Do you ever feel that way?
Anytime Emily, you said congratulations, by the way, on the success since the move in the legal arena. Emily as well has been wildly busy in the real estate world, and she just continues to amaze me as far as what she accomplishes. But so she's what I'm getting at is, over the course of the shutdown, she has been in a position to have far more successes than I am as a comedian. But what we've done is try to figure out ways to, safely just take the night that something happens, or, a night or two after, and take the moment to enjoy that victory and kind of get back to work the next day. You want to live in it. You don't want to be that child star who's like, do you want me to, I had a 3-episode arc on the Wonder Years, and you're going to treat me like this? It's like, dude, that was 25 years ago.
Yeah.
We just like enjoy it.
Yeah.
Build on it, but don't live in it, because it's over.
Right.
So that's that. And then as far as the defeats, it's just an evolution. It's just figuring out what went wrong and how to and which turn to take differently the next time around. Because in some way, shape, or form, a similar, if not the exact same opportunity, is going to present itself, and you're going to have to lean on your experience to navigate it.
Yeah, it's interesting that like I've been able to pull a lot of I don't know if you get the same thing too, but like, doing something creative and having to put yourself out there for like comedy and trying to get booked, you hear no a lot, and you don't hear a lot of comics that talk about I do. I don't know, man. Sorry. But like, we hear no a lot, and then now
know so much I had to propose to my wife twice. Let's just put it that way. To be fair, she was was high on drugs when I proposed the first time because she had an awful week. But I did have to ask twice because the first time she didn't think it was actually real. I said, "Will you marry me?" Actually, my exact words were, "Do you want to marry me or not?" And then she goes, "I don't know if this is real. Can you ask again later?" And I had to.
That's funny. But I've been able to take those experiences of like no and learn from it. Like what I'm trying to say is like, I'm not trying to say that comedy is like the key of life or success or anything like that, but I don't know. Have you learned any lessons? Like for me, I've learned that sometimes getting a no is great because then I know where I stand.
Well, no's a response. I know negates any mystery of it. It's a yes or a no. You get a response. I would take a no over silence every single time.
For sure. And like with business too, like, if someone says, if there's an opportunity, it's like, maybe, okay, what am I supposed to do now? Like, that's the confusing part of like business or the comedy business of comedy too, is like, how do you navigate through these things? And I had a point, I don't know what it was, but it probably wasn't great, but I think that just, using during the lockdown, like just, taking all these things that we've learned and applying them to, life and, things in general has been, interesting. I mean, it's been interesting. I know that I have a lot more fun being a lawyer, because I'm being more myself, which I always was afraid to make people laugh in the lawyer setting. But I enjoy that now. And I'm not like cracking jokes like in inappropriate times or anything, but like, oh, not guilty, really? Okay, but like just trying to be more myself. I don't know. I'm just learning, like what you said, just learning more about things. Trying to learn about us and what works and what doesn't, and push through what's good and bad, instead of avoiding it. That was me.
Absolutely. I think it's just a self-actualization thing, and just understanding that it's so dumb, but you are who you are. Mm-hmm. So if you can't figure out how to love yourself or what makes you tick, I mean, what right do you have to expect or ask anyone to love you?
For sure.
And that's been one of the greatest journeys for me during the course of this whole shutdown and an extended period of self-reflection.
Yeah. So what's up next for you? I think you're headlining Ann Arbor Comedy Showcase.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yep. I'm doing that on February 28 and 29. And then I'm supposed to be, I'm doing some small Michigan rooms over the course of the next couple months, trying to get back into it. I'm going to places where I know the management and the ownership, and I trust them when they tell me that they're being serious about the social distancing and the guidelines. I mean, I'm writing a lot, but these jokes there's a lot of fat on them. And I need some places to start hitting the bag a little bit. So I'm fortunate to be going out and exploring some new stuff. But February 28 and 29, I believe. Nope, this isn't a leap year. So it's February 27 and 28.
28,
Ann Arbor Comedy Showcase. And then I think March 10th through 12th, I'll be at One Night Stands in March 11th through 13th, One Night Stands in Waterford. And then May 27th through 29th, I'll be at Mark Ridley's Comedy Castle.
Nice. That's awesome.
I'm trying to just maybe do like one safe social distance thing a month live, try and dip my toe back into that water and just and get back at it. Because I do want to get back out on the road, but I want to do it when, it's safe.
Yeah. I mean, like, you have a family, other people in your household. Like, I think it's a little bit more
challenging. Gift I got from my wife. Dad, I love you 3000. Yeah, made me cry. I cry all the time now, by the way. Since I have, I don't know if it's since my dad died about 5 or 6 years ago, but I cry all the time. We watched the other night Dog's Tale with my youngest daughter, and my wife is just like looking over at me, and I can tell she's looking for the tears. And I'm like, I'm holding my dog closer than I've ever held him before. And she's like, oh, looks like he's going to be sleeping in our bed tonight. I cry all the time. I cannot stop crying. I'm a very emotional person.
Yeah. I I same. Like we watched Soul. I was not expecting that. I just bawled throughout the last like 45
Onward.
minutes. I can't.
Oh yeah, and I'm going to.
Jesus,
but if you want something that'll tug on the old heartstrings, it is Onward by Pixar. Pixar, I mean, my God, it's like they're just throwing sand into your eyes.
Yeah, I think they read your brain. I think they read your thoughts. They know exactly how to get in there. And then their whole goal is like, how many people did we make that 40-something guy cry? Did we do that? If we did, we can make the kids cry.
Their goal is to make you feel enough to cry, but not enough to kill yourself. Yeah. Like it's a very fine line for Pixar. It's like we do want tears, not suicides, but like tears. Yeah. It's a very difficult line to walk on.
Yeah, man, you get ready for that one. Strap in. Cry before you watch Soul. Just get a pre-cry out of the way, and then get ready for the cry.
Well, that movie's very like specific to kind of what this podcast is.
Yeah, right? That's true.
It's not letting your career identify who you are.
Mm-hmm. Yep. You nailed it. That's what I think. That's my journey right now, since I've kind of awoken, and writing a book has been really therapeutic for me. I've got 170 some pages of stuff that's probably garbage. There's a lot of garbage in it and fat, but
like I have 170 pages, maybe 25 will make it in.
I hope so.
Like hours, whether it's comedy or a book, and then you get like a line out of it. I tell my daughter wants to write. She's like a very dark, curious mind, so she writes dark stories. And I tell her, you got to write a bunch of shit to get, and that's what I say. You got to write a bunch of shit just to get anything good. Because in my house, our daughters are allowed to swear if they can define what the word is and give me 2 synonyms for it. If they can use it in proper context, I don't care. Just don't sound like an idiot.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. Now that they've seen you almost cut off your hand, I want to see what she's going to write about now.
She was so. I mean, man, throughout I cannot stress how fortunate I have been to have gone through this quarantine. Not only with just anyone, like I can't imagine having to go through it alone. I feel wildly fortunate that I get to go through it with Emily and Carmen and Lena, because each of them, like Emily brings this inspiration about her to where everybody's like, the girls are like, okay, let's get school done. We got to get this done. Mommy's working hard. I'm working hard. And that got me forward one, and try not to just waste my time feeling sorry for myself because I can't get on the road. Carmen is just like such an old soul. She's just so set in her opinions and wants to challenge you on everything you say, but she's willing to have the debate. So it's like for a 10-year-old, these conversations shouldn't be as in-depth as they are, but man, she has opened my eyes to a number of things. And Lena is, bar none, one of the funniest individuals I've ever met in my life, and she knows it. She gets this look in her eye, and she's just like, I know what I'm about to say. And like we were talking about a friend the other day that we were going to go see kind of socially distanced, and Emily's like, oh, we're going to take a bottle of wine. And Lena gets that look in her eye, and she goes, oh, well, make sure you take a few. She can really jam them down. Like, they're just it's the best. And then we got the dog Farley, who is just writing a lot about him right now because he's just the best.
That's cool. Yeah. Julian's 8. He's like just super. I mean, he's just super funny. Like, dude, and the stuff he knows, he doesn't know how it's funny sometimes, but like he came to the office, and I had to do a Zoom court. And I was like, okay, you got to do your school in the other room, and you can only, like, if there's a question, there's something emergent, you got to throw a question underneath the door kind of thing, because I can't be bothered by this. And so like 5 minutes in, I see this like question go under the door, and he goes, the question was, who's your daddy? And I was just like,
and there's something to be said for kids that age where like, they may not understand why it's funny, but they also understand delivery. Like, and that is a prime example. Just put it on there under the. He doesn't necessarily understand the context of what he's doing, but like slides it under there. That's gonna get you every time.
Yeah,
delivery, man.
I know, it's wild. Where can we follow you? What's your you have YouTube page as well, right?
YouTube page where my friend and fellow Michigander, also for my money, one of the funniest comedians out there, is Jeff Sheen. We do a kind of like a Zoom cast very similar to this that is over on YouTube called LOL Lions, where we discuss the Lions and the goings on. We did one for every game this season, and we are currently 4 weeks into the off season. You wouldn't think much has been happening, but we got a new GM, we got new coordinators, we got a new coach, we got a massive trade. So we've been doing a lot. We're going to do one on the Super Bowl this Monday. It'll probably be out, and that's fun. So yeah, that's my YouTube page. I've also got some characters in the works. They're on my 411, and I am developing them. They may be more suited for like an Instagram TV type thing where you can follow me at Zach.Martina, which is right down there in the at that part right there.
Do that.
So that'll be fun. And then yeah, I mean, you can search me on Facebook. I really don't do Twitter too much because I don't think they like me.
Nice. Yeah, man, it's been a pleasure. I really appreciate you coming on and talking.
Did I give you enough time? Is it too short? Is it too long?
No, we're good. This is perfect.
What did I do wrong? Tell me what I did wrong, Nick. I know I did something wrong.
I'll send you a text with bullet points of that.
You're like, keep working on yourself, buddy, because you obviously still don't have any self-esteem.
Thank you. That is true. That's true. That is true. And,
no, me, not you. I would never say that about you.
No,
I only thought that myself.
Me. It's so funny. Like we both. I thought that. No, you have so much. You're a delight, and I always love working with you, hanging out with you, talking with you. You're at the same time you are goofy, which I enjoy. You're also very cerebral, and so if you can have a person that balances two of those things, like that's really cool. So yeah. You froze up. Are you there? Oh no. Oh, you're okay. There you are.
Sorry if I interrupted. I didn't hear anything you said. You were saying very nice things.
I was, yeah. Oh, damn it.
Is the story of my fucking life.
Well,
what you said. But I'm sure that they were warm-hearted messages.
They were.
And I won't ask you to repeat them.
I'll text them. You're a delight.
Right after the bullet points, like, hey, you fucked up this, but this is what I thought. Balance it out.
Here's the good things, yeah. Always good seeing you, buddy. Hopefully at some point we can see each other and embrace. And so thanks so much. I will see you soon. And again, follow Zach
and Julian, and thank you for having me on.
Yeah. I will. Thanks so much, everybody. And this is 34. I will be back tomorrow at some point. And we'll talk about what's going on. So have a good rest of your night. And thanks again to Zach. Make sure you follow him. He's a very funny and cool dude. So thanks so much. All right. Goodbye, everybody.